Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Jai Prabhupada. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare
I got him right down here. I'll put him in after. Thank you. Are you ready? You gonna play drum? Yeah. Hare Krishna. Happy Gudi Padwa. Jai Maharashtra. Jai Shivaji. Jai Srila Prabhupada. Namo Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prastaya Bhutale Srimati Bhakti Vedanta Swami Ti Namine. Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharine Nivishesha Sunyavadi Astatya Harine. Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharine Nivishesha Sunyavadi Astatya Harine. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Sri Vasadi Gaur Bhaktivinoda. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Sri Vasadi Gaur Bhaktivinoda. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaur Bhaktivinoda Shri Krishna Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Lord praise. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Go. Lord Prem. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Rama Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Srinam. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Hare. Whoa! Rupenda Harinam. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama. Go. Kirtan. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Wow. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare. Bolo. Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare. Kirtan. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Hare. Chant this. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare. Haribo. Kirtan. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Hare. Whoa! Hey! Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare. Holy name, Yuga Dharma. Nitai Gauranga Jaya, Nitai Gauranga. Oh, Nitai Gauranga Jaya, Nitai Gauranga. Bola Nitai Gauranga Jaya, Nitai Gauranga. Bola Nitai Gauranga Jaya, Nitai Gauranga. Nitai Gauranga Jaya Gaur Hari, hey! Nitai Gauranga Jaya Gaur Hari. Wow, Nitai Gauranga Gaur Hari. Hey, Nitai Gauranga Gaur Hari. Gaura, Gaura, Gaura Hari, bolo. Gaura, Gaura, Gaura Hari. Gaura, Gaura, Gaura Hari. Hey, Nitai Gauranga Jaya, Nitai Gauranga. Gauranga Jaya, Nitai Gauranga. Hola Nitai Gauranga Jaya, Nitai Gauranga. Nitai Gauranga Gaur Hari. Nitai Gauranga Gaur Hari. Nitai Gauranga Gaur Hari, hey! Hola Nitai Gauranga Jaya Gaur Hari, yo! Gaur, Gaur, Gaur Hari. Gaur, Gaur, Gaur Hari, yo! Gaur, Gaur, Gaur Hari. Gaur, Gaur, Gaur Hari. Nityananda, Nityananda, Nityananda Ram. Hey, Nityananda, Nityananda, Nityananda Ram. Hey, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Ram, Hare. Kirtan, chant that. Wow. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Rama, Hare Ram, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Woo. Hey, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Rama, Hare. Chant dance, go! Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Kirtan, go! Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Rama, Hare Rama, Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare Ram, Rama, Hare Hare. Hey, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare Ram, Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram, Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Ram, Mahamantra. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Rama, Hare Ram, Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Yo! Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, oh Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, oh Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Group Prem Dan, Harinam, Sankirtan. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Okay, ready? Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare Ram, Ram Ram. Go, go. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare Rama, Hare Ram, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Ram, Hare Ram. Say it down, go. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Rama, Rama Rama. Boy, out. Oh no! Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hari Bol, Hare Bol, Hari Bol, go Hari Bol. Nitai go Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Bow go Hari Bol. Jai go Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, go Hari Bol. Jaya Prabhupada, Prabhupada Jai, Prabhupada Jai, Prabhupada. Jai Jai Prabhupada, 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 Jai Prabhupada. Jai Jai Prabhupada, 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 Jai Prabhupada. Jai Jai Prabhupada, 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 Jai Prabhupada. Gaur Premanandi, Sisadai Gaur Premanandi. Nitai Gaur Premanandi. Nitai Gaur Premanandi. Jai Jai Shri Radhe. Jai Jai Shri Radhe. Jai Jai Shri Radhe. Jai Om Vishnupad Paramahamsa, Paribhacharya Sri Srimad, Divine Grace, Srila A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami, Srila Prabhupada ki. Jai Om Vishnupad Paramahamsa, Paribhacharya Sri Srimad, Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur, Maharaj Srila Prabhupada ki. Anantakoti Vaishnava Vrinda ki. Namcharya Srila Haridas Thakur ki. Namsakaho Shri Krishna Chaitanya, Prabhu Nityananda, Advaita Gadadhar Shivasari Go Bhaktivinoda ki. Shri Shri Radha Krishna, Gopinath, Shamakund, Radhakund, Giri Govardhan ki. Shri Bhakti Bhumi Shri Vrindavan Dham ki. Pradeep Maya Pradama ki. Jagannath Puri Dham ki. Ganga Jamuna Maya ki. Bhakti Devi ki. Tulsi Maharani ki. ISKCON DVD founder, Charya, save the whole world, Shri Prabhupada ki. Back home, back to Godhead ki. Shri Goloka Vrindavan Dham ki. Kali Kali Nam Rup Krishna Avatar ki. Hare Krishna Maha Mantra ki. Jai Go Premanandi. Glorious to the assembled devotees. Glorious to the assembled devotees. Glorious to the assembled devotees. Glorious to Guru. Glorious to Gauranga. Kirtan forever!
Rivo! Hare Krishna. All of our presence here is a proof that Maharaj does not need any introduction. Because if somebody does not know His Holiness Indradyumna Swami Maharaj, then his life is a waste. Vritha janma gelotar. No use to his life. Maharaj is a very glorious disciple of His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Serving in the mission from 1970 when he was just 18 or 19 years old for last 55 years without any kind of break, going through so many ups and downs, but rendering wonderful service in the glorious mission. Maharaj joined at in 1970, and how he joined itself is an exciting adventure. Maharaj has spoken about it in one of the talk called The Silver Spoons. Some of you might have heard. It was in Sri Sri Radha Gopinath Mandir Chowpatty. How His Holiness Vishnujan Maharaj met him, and it was an overnight transformation. It's an amazing journey. And then Maharaj continued. Maharaj traveled with Srila Prabhupada to Europe, and that's where Srila Prabhupada personally instructed Maharaj to preach boldly and have faith in the holy name. So these are the two instructions which Srila Prabhupada himself carried out from his spiritual master. Maharaj carried the legacy forward, and to preach boldly means to really go to places where we can't even dream of. And if you want to really know about those places, you have to read the book Adventures of a Traveling Monk. We were getting those, the diaries of a traveling monk, the notes. But as a book, if you read it, it's just so amazing. There's no corner of the world which is left out by Maharaj, where he has not gone and expanded the Sankirtan movement, taking all kind of risk in the Muslim countries and in the communist countries and far out in the jungles of South Africa. It's just amazing the places where he has been. It's very, very adventurous because Prabhupada instructed him to preach boldly and to have faith in the holy name. And then in 1979, Maharaj accepted the sannyas order, and he was president of a new Mayapur temple at France for a few years. And after that, Maharaj started traveling extensively and preaching the glories of the holy name. Especially in 1986, he started the Poland festival. And that festival is continuing still without any break, expanding forever. And that festival has been the source of inspiration and transformation for millions of people who visited there. People look forward, all the time when the diary comes, we see how so many people have been keenly looking forward. That's a lifeline for many of them at the end of the year. And then Maharaj conducted several other festivals, especially the Polish Woodstock Festival. And these festivals are really amazing. I mean, you get to see the the culture of India in its fullness, which sometimes you not see while sitting in India also. So Maharaj has imported the best of it, and there are several kind of dances and theatrical performances, and of course the best part is Maharaj's speech on Bhagavad Gita and Bhagavatam. And people buy books, people wear saris, people eat Indian food, and it's just an amazing transformative experience for all of them who come there. We can read some of the narrations in the diaries there. So Maharaj has been a great inspiration. He spent time in traveling. Along with that, he's an author also. He's written several books, especially from 1995 onward. He has been writing the Diaries of Traveling Monk, which is several volumes of that. And then lockdown, Maharaj was in Vrindavan Dham, and there he researched. He has a very great research aptitude. So he researched about Vrindavan Dham and the holy places. And Maharaj also researched the 6 original deities installed by Sri Narottam Das Thakur in Kheturi Gram, where they are and how they are being served. So there's a lot of amazing adventurous things connected with Maharaj. And it's our great fortune that we have him here on this first day of Maharashtrian New Year called Gudi Padwa. So this is a special blessing of their Lordship Shri Shri Radha Vrindavan Chandra that they have provided us an opportunity to hear from Maharaj and take his blessings, because the mercy of the great souls is the very essence of life. There's nothing higher than that which Krishna can offer to his devotees. So let us welcome Maharaj to Shri Shri Radha Vrindavan Chandra Mandir by once loudly chanting the Hare Krishna mantra. Apart from devotees, Maharaj is also very influential in meeting the interfaith leaders like the Dalai Lama and others. And recently Maharaj met Prime Minister Narendra Modi while Maharaj was in Delhi recovering, and Maharaj gifted him his book, shared his adventures with him. So it's a great inspiration to have Maharaj here. And we are all honored, Maharaj, to have you here and have your blessings on this auspicious day. Hare Krishna. तो यहाँ पर क्लास इंग्लिश में होगा. इसका पैरेलल समांतर हिंदी अनुवाद नीचे भक्तिवेदांता हॉल में हो रहा है. तो जो लोग हिंदी में सुनना चाहते हैं वो नीचे सुन सकते हैं, या फिर FM 89.7 89.7 पर आप FM लगाकर ईयरफोन लगा करके यहाँ बैठ करके भी आप हिंदी में अनुवाद सुन सकते हैं और यही रह सकते हैं. तो आप नीचे सुन सकते हैं या फिर FM पर सुन सकते हैं. हरे कृष्ण. हिज होलीनेस इंद्रद्युम्न स्वामी महाराज की, श्रील प्रभुपाद की.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. I was thinking yesterday evening what to speak about in front of such an august assembly of Vaishnavas and Vaishnavis, and I immediately thought of your beautiful deities, your Radha Krishna deities. I've traveled the world over and over again, around and around, and I've seen many deities, but always these deities come to my mind. They're so beautiful. You're so blessed to be serving your lotus feet. And naturally we're taught when we come before the Lord that our gaze is first at his lotus feet, and then gradually our gaze goes upwards to his lotus face. So I haven't had opportunity to take darshan because I came in and now I'm looking the other way, but I'd like to speak about the lotus feet of your deities with your permission today. This is Srimad Bhagavatam, 11th canto, chapter 6. This is verse 7. The demigods are speaking. Our dear Lord, advanced mystic yogis, striving for liberation from the severe bondage of material work, meditate with great devotion upon your lotus feet within their hearts. Dedicating our intelligence, senses, vital air, mind, and power of speech to your Lordship, we demigods now bow down to your lotus feet. Om Agyan Timidandasya Ginan Gina Shalakaya Chaksunmilitam Jena Tasmai Sigurave. Sri Chaitanya Mado Bhishtam Stapitam Jena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadanti Svabha. Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasari Gaur. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama. So in this particular verse of Grantaraj, Srimad Bhagavatam, we say Grantaraj often because Grant in Sanskrit means book or shastra, and Raj means king. So the Srimad Bhagavatam is the king of all the many scriptures we have in this great country of India, because it's Amala Puran. It deals only with pure devotional service to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. That is the Panam Gatim of every devotee, to go back home, back to Godhead, back to Vaikuntha, but beyond Vaikuntha, to Goloka Vrindavan. It's the topmost planet in the spiritual world. In the realm of Vaikuntha, there's unlimited spiritual planets where the Lord resides with his various devotees in different humors or different moods. But Goloka Vrindavan is the topmost, because there one can have a very loving, intimate relationship with the Lord. Some of our acharyas, they refer to Vaikuntha as the official kingdom of God, but Goloka Vrindavan is where one can be with Krishna in a very personal way. So they say that Goloka Vrindavan is the playground of God, and that's our ultimate goal. So in this verse, the devatas are actually praising Krishna in Dwarka, and the very first thing they do, these devatas, is to glorify his lotus feet. That's interesting, because generally when you want to flatter someone, you don't praise their feet. But Krishna's feet are not ordinary, they're extraordinary. And throughout our Shastras, the glories of Krishna's feet, their beauty, the fragrance, their flavor, are glorified again and again by our great acharyas. For example, in the third canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, it's described that when the four Kumaras met Lord Krishna at the gates of Vaikuntha, I'm sure most of you are familiar with that pastime, the darshan just of his lotus feet had an overwhelming effect on them. Just to see the divine lotus feet, the four Kumaras were overwhelmed. Chapter 15, verse 43 of the third canto says, when the breeze carrying the aroma of tulsi leaves from the toes of the lotus feet of the Supreme Personality of Godhead entered the nostrils of those great sages, they experienced a change both in body and in mind, even though they were attached at that point to the impersonal Brahman understanding. They were elevated from the Brahman understanding to becoming pure devotees just by smelling the breeze that passed by the toes of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So just from that one pastime mentioned in Srimad Bhagavatam, we can appreciate that the Lord's feet are very special. So special that actually we all know the goddess of fortune, Lakshmi Devi, she spends much of her time at those lotus feet. We often see, isn't it, paintings of Lakshmi Devi? She's massaging the Lord's lotus feet. In fact, those lotus feet of Krishna are so full of nectar that even Krishna himself is fascinated by his lotus feet. What? Just consider. His feet are so full of nectar that even Krishna himself is fascinated by his lotus feet. We've all seen that famous painting of Krishna floating on the banyan leaf, sucking his toe. He's sucking his toe. And the acharyas explain that this is because Krishna is wondering, what is it about his feet that make him so attractive to his devotees? So what is it? Well, those soft lotus feet are all attractive. So soft and attractive that the people of Braj, the people of Vrindavan, the Brajavasis, they become concerned what will happen to Krishna when he walks barefoot through the forest of Vrindavan and the small pebbles hurt his feet. The Brajavasis are very concerned. They love Krishna, they love everything about Krishna, and they're always meditating on his lotus feet. So when he goes to herd the cows in the morning, the Brajavasis are very worried. What will happen to those two lotus feet? In fact, one time Mother Yashoda, she chastised Krishna. Krishna, you should wear some padukas. You should wear some wooden sandals when you go to the forest because your soft lotus feet may get pricked by the thorns or by the pebbles. And Krishna said, Maya, no way. No way I'm going to wear padukas. No way I'm going to wear shoes. But Lala, please, you're hurting the cows. So Krishna said, I love my cows so much. They don't wear shoes, Maya, so why should I wear shoes? Namo Brahmanya Devaya Go Brahmanya Hitaya Cha Jagaditaya Krishnaya Govindaya Namo Namaha. Krishna is famous as a cowherd boy. He loves his cows so much. He loves brahmanas, Namo Brahmanya Devaya. He loves the cows and he loves the brahmanas. But if we look at his Leela in Goloka Vrindavan, he's spending most of his time with the cows. He goes out all day in the early morning, herds the cows in the pastures of Vrindavan, and he comes back late in the afternoon, and maybe he'll offer some blessings to a few brahmanas, but he spends most of his time, Govinda, with the cows. And the gopis, Krishna's greatest lovers, they're in so much anxiety that they worry when they place Krishna's lotus feet upon their chest, that his lotus feet may be, that their chest may be too hard for the softness of the Lord's lotus feet. And why do we refer to them as lotus? Many times when I'm traveling in Western countries and I refer to the lotus face of the Lord, the lotus feet of the Lord, people in the West, they say, well, why lotuses? Why are they called lotus feet? I mean, we're used to that term, isn't it? Lotus feet. But you go to America, you go to Canada, Mexico, Argentina, you say lotus feet. Like, why are you calling them lotus feet? Why are Krishna's feet compared to lotuses? Because they're soft like lotus flowers. They're beautiful like lotus flowers. And they have a little pink color to them, as do lotus flowers. You always see the lotus flowers bluish, but there's some pink there. So Krishna's feet are compared to lotus flowers because they have that pinkish nature. Even Krishna's toenails are compared to the petals of a lotus flower. Regarding Krishna's lotus feet, Queen Kunti, in a famous prayer in Srimad Bhagavatam, first canto, chapter 8, text 22, she says, Nama pankacha nabhaya, nama pankacha maline, nama pankacha netraya, namaste pankachaya. My respectful obeisances are unto you, O Lord, whose abdomen is marked with the depression like a lotus flower, who are always decorated with garlands of lotus flowers, whose glance is as cool as the lotus, and whose feet are engraved with lotuses. Now, a devotee, hearing this talk might lament that those divine lotus feet are only available at the gates of Vaikuntha, because we heard that 4 Kumaras came and they were liberated actually from the concept of the impersonal Brahman, to become God. Just some breeze was coming by, and it passed by the toenails of the Lord. And by selling that, they became Vaishnavas, devotees of Krishna. So one like lament, well, I also want to become elevated to the stage of pure devotional service, but I can't go to the gates of Vaikuntha and smell that intoxicating breeze. But no, those lotus feet are available to all devotees. How so? Well, in a bit of an esoteric way, in discussing the glories of our Grantharaj, Srimad Bhagavatam, our acharyas say that the first two cantos of the Bhagavatam are compared to Krishna's lotus feet. If you go from the first, second, third, up to the 12th canto of Bhagavatam, those different cantos represent different parts of Krishna's Vigraha, Satchidananda Vigraha. His form is not mundane material elements, but made of Sat Chidananda, eternity, knowledge, and bliss. So the Bhagavatam, which is completely spiritual in and of itself, the different cantos represent the different parts of the Lord's body. And as we start with the first canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, we learn about Krishna. We focus on Krishna by studying first canto, then second canto, then third canto. 9 cantos before we actually go into the Lord's playful pastimes in Vrindavan in the 10th canto. We begin at the beginning. So when we come for darshan to your beautiful deities, you first look at his feet. You first look at his divine feet, and then you sit down and you hear from Srimad Bhagavatam. So the first 2 cantos of Bhagavatam are compared to the feet of the Lord. So don't lament, I can't go to Vaikuntha. The gates of Vaikuntha, and smell the breeze coming over the toes of the Lord to become a pure devotee. I can sit daily, and beginning from the first canto of the and second canto of the Srimad Bhagavatam, that's compared to having darshan with the Lord. And we can also have darshan of those lotus feet from the beautiful deities. The deities of Radha and Krishna, the deities of Sitaram, Lakshman, Hanuman, the different expansions of the Lord, we can actually come and see, because those deities are not different than the Lord. As that Brahmana boy we hear in Chaitanya Charitamrita, when the Brahmana boy came back to Vrindavan to ask Shakshi Gopal to act as a witness to a trial that was taking place in Orissa. He said to the Lord, my dear Lord, you are not a statue. You are directly the son of Maharaj Nanda. So you please come and stand witness for me in Orissa. And the Lord said, how I can come? I'm a deity. How can I walk? The boy said, intelligent young Brahmana, Lord, if you can talk, you can walk. So you come with me and stand as my witness. So when we're coming to the temple and we're seeing the deity, that is our understanding. My dear Lord, you are not a statue. You are directly the son of Maharaj Nanda, and I get the darshan of your lotus feet. So bowing down to those lotus feet is very important. Krishna stresses in Bhagavad Gita, isn't it? Chapter 9, I think it's text 14, Satatam kirtayanto mam, yatantasta vidavartaha, namasyantascha mam bhaktya, nitya yukta upashyate. I can see some of you are chanting that verse. Always chanting my glories, endeavoring with great determination, bowing down before me. What are we bowing down? As we bow down, what do we see? The Lord's lotus feet. When you're bowing down, we have no problem bowing down to the Lord. Oh, there's that song, bow down, Mr. Hare Krishna. We don't mind bowing down, because when we bow down submissively, humbly, what do we see? His lotus feet. And by gazing at those lotus feet, we can get the same blessings as did the 4 Kumaras by smelling the breeze that went over those lotus feet. So bowing down before me, these great souls, Krishna says in the Gita, perpetually worship me with devotion. And this bowing down to the lotus feet of Lord Krishna and his associates, it's been going on since time immemorial. I was reading just the other day in Chaitanya Charitamrita. Chaitanya Charitamrita describes that when a number of Brahmas, Lord Brahmas, from different universes, entered Krishna's room, you know this pastime in Dwarka, what was the first thing they did? They all offered him obeisances with their millions of crowns touching the ground. It created, as described, a tumultuous crashing sound. And Srimad Bhagavatam, 3rd canto, chapter 2, verse 21 confirms, referring to this pastime, when all the Devatas came to see Krishna, actually came from different universes, smaller universes, bigger universes. So to rule or to do their seva in those particular universes, they had different numbers of heads. Our Lord Brahma only has 4 heads because this is a small universe. But there's some universes where Brahma is doing his seva there. He has thousands of heads. So all these Brahmas came to see Lord Krishna in Dwarka, and entering into his chambers, they bowed down, and it made a tumultuous crashing sound. So Bhagavatam 3:221 describes that moment. This is real history. We're not interested in mundane history of this world. It's all quite depressing. But this is the real history that we're interested in. Purana means the ancient history of this creation. So that moment's described. Lord Sri Krishna is the Lord of all kinds of threes and is independently supreme. By achievement of all kinds of fortune, he is worshipped by the eternal maintainers of the creation, Lord Brahma, who offer him the paraphernalia of worship by touching their millions of helmets to his feet. So we want to follow in their footsteps, these great personalities. By bowing down to the feet of the Lord, those lotus feet touched their heads, and they were benedicted. Now, besides the 4 Kumaras, there's another example of how the lotus feet of Krishna are very dear to devotees. And this is especially relevant to us as a Gaudiya Vaishnavas. And that example is the example of Akrura. When he was making the journey from Mathura to Vrindavan to bring Krishna and Balaram back to Mathura for the wrestling match. Most of you are aware of that pastime. King Kamsa was sending demons every day to Vrindavan to kill Krishna. But they were unsuccessful. Each and every one of them were unsuccessful. So Kamsa, he devised another plan. Let's get this Krishna and Balaram to Mathura. I'll invite them on the pretext of a wrestling match. And my wrestlers will easily kill these 2 young boys. He's such a demon, Kamsa. So he sent one of his ministers. His ministers were, practically all of them, were asuras, and they had some cities that they could change, their human form into the form of an animal, for example, like a duck, or a snake, or a witch, and in this way, go to Vrindavan and kill Krishna. So, but he had one minister who was not asura, was actually a great devotee, Akrura. Interesting how history unfolds. This devotee Akrura was a minister in the government of Kamsa, for a particular reason, I'm sure. So he asked Akrura, you take this chariot, you go to Vrindavan, and you invite these 2 boys, Krishna and Balaram, back to Mathura for the wrestling match. So Akrura, this great devotee, was very happy because he would get darshan of the Lord. So on the way to Vrindavan from Mathura with a wrestling match, Akrura is thinking of the lotus feet of the Lord. It's Srimad Bhagavatam 10:38-17. He says, Apyangri mule patitasya me vibhu. When I have fallen at Krishna's feet, that Almighty Lord will place his lotus hand upon my head. For those who seek shelter in him, because they are greatly disturbed by the powerful serpent of time, that hand and those lotus feet remove all fear. We're all fearful in this world. Where do we take shelter? Take shelter at the lotus feet of the Lord, because this verse describes, by taking shelter at the lotus feet of the Lord, all fear is removed. And even if we can't come to the temple and take shelter of these beautiful feet of the Lord, you can get that same shelter by chanting Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama. Why? Because our acharyas say that fear personified is afraid of the holy names of Krishna. Now, as Akrura got closer to Vrindavan, he started meditating on what he would do upon arrival. So why is this interesting to us? Because all of us are encouraged to go to Vrindavan. It's one of the 5 angas of devotional service. The principal activities: chanting Hare Krishna, hearing Srimad Bhagavatam, associating with devotees, living in a holy place like Mathura or Vrindavan, like this. So we're all encouraged. Prabhupada has invited us. He constructed the Krishna Balaram Mandir in Vrindavan, and he invited devotees and people from all over the world. It was a significant event in the history of this great country of India that Prabhupada established a temple in Vrindavan. In fact, next week we're going to celebrate the 50th anniversary of the opening of the Krishna Balaram temple. So we want to go to Vrindavan, but Prabhupada often said going to Vrindavan, you don't accomplish that by buying a plane ticket or taking a train or a taxi. That's not actually going into Vrindavan is a certain mood. One has to have a certain consciousness, Krishna consciousness. So we want to prepare ourselves for entering into Vrindavan by following in the footsteps of those who have gone before us, pure devotees. So this pastime of Akrura, entering into Vrindavan, is very significant for all of us. So as he's getting closer to Vrindavan, we want to listen very carefully. What did he do? As he did, we will do. So he was meditating. He thought, it's described in the Bhagavatam, he thought, when I get to Vrindavan, I will at once alight from my chariot and bow down to what? The lotus feet of Krishna and Balaram. That's the first thing he's going to do. So next time you go to Vrindavan, when you're on the plane and you're on the train and you're in the taxi from Delhi, you think, I will alight from my chariot, well, my taxi, and I will immediately bow down to the lotus feet of Krishna and Balaram. Why specifically Krishna and Balaram? Because Prabhupada established our temple. He called it the Krishna Balaram Mandir, because Raman Reti, where we got the land, that was the place of the wrestling matches of the cowherd boys, the sands of Raman Reti, cowherd boys. So Prabhupada aptly named it the Krishna Balaram Mandir. Gornitai, Krishna Balaram, and Shri Shri Radha Sundar. So when I get out of my taxi, I will bow down to the lotus feet of Krishna and Balaram. And he went on, enlightening us. Their feet are meditated upon by great mystic yogis, striving for self-realization. I also offer my obeisances to the Lord's cowherd boyfriends, he says, and to all the residents of Vrindavan. This is Gaudiya Vaishnava. Now, I was reading that Akrura, so much detail, right? Love is in the details. We have so much detail in Krishna consciousness. I often say to people in the West, you're talking about love of God, but how can you love someone you know nothing about? Tell me something about God, I say to our with all due respect, in the West. Oh God, he lives up there. Okay, anything else? Well, if I don't worship him, I'll go down there. Anything else? Yeah, he's God. How can you love someone you know nothing about? So the beauty of Bharat, of this great country of India, we have a wealth of knowledge about the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and his incarnations, and his devotees, and his abodes, and his address, and what he likes to eat. Everything. Detail. Love is in the details. This is how we can awaken our love for Krishna, especially by hearing this Amala Purana. I'm giving a class just about his lotus feet. This is a 4-hour class. No, I'm just kidding. I can speak for hours about just the lotus feet, just the lotus toes, the toenails of Krishna. We have so much information, and that is a stimulus for ecstatic love. We're blessed. You are blessed to live in this country because you have access to this knowledge. And now the world is blessed because Srila Prabhupada went to the West to tell people about the toenails of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So, Akrura, and listen carefully because you want to follow in his footsteps. One who says he's my devotee, not my devotee, Krishna says, but one who says he's the devotee of my devotee, he's my devotee. This is the way we enter, by following in the footsteps of a resident of Vrindavan, like Srila Prabhupada. One of my godbrothers told me that Prabhupada told him at an intimate moment, one of his secretaries, he said, I did not want to come to this nasty place, this material world, but Krishna ordered me to go. And he said, you just go down to the earth planet. These are Prabhupada's words, Krishna's words to Prabhupada. You just go down to the earth planet and you write books on the science of Krishna consciousness. I'll arrange everything else for you. And that's true. So we want to go to Vrindavan. My main reason of going to Vrindavan is because Prabhupada's there. I would, rather than go back to Godhead where there's no Prabhupada, I would rather go with him to Patala Loka, preach. In fact, one of my godbrothers, Adi Shakar Prabhu, a French devotee, he was a new bhakta. And Prabhupada was giving darshan to all of us at our new Mayapur community, our farm community, 1974, I think, or 75. And this devotee said to Prabhupada, Prabhupada, where are you going to go when you die? You can't ask the spiritual master a question like that. No, I want, he's a new bhakta. So Amaji, where are you going when you die? Prabhupada said, I plan to go to Patala Loka to continue preaching the message of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. It's Prabhupada. So I want to follow him wherever his lotus feet are going. One time a devotee said to Prabhupada, Prabhupada, I just want to follow you all over the world. Prabhupada said, well, these 2 lotus feet are traveling very quickly around the world, so you have to keep up with me, these lotus feet. So by following Prabhupada's lotus feet, we'll end up where? Ultimately in Goloka Vrindavan. And also Akrura. So Akrura, here's the details. Love is in the details. Akrura reached Vrindavan at sunset. I never knew that. He reached, we've heard, all right. So if you go deeply, you mine this treasure house of Bhagavatam. So many details as a stimulus for ecstatic love. He reached Vrindavan at sunset. And the very first thing that Akrura saw was Krishna's footprints. Because they're everywhere. Why are they everywhere? Because Krishna is running around, footloose and fancy-free with his cowherd boyfriends and his cows and meeting his gopis in the forest at night. His lotus feet are like everywhere in Vrindavan. So it's the first thing he saw. One reason they're there is because, well, to describe the gopis, you know, even now I see in your country, the ladies, they sweep with the broom. So gopis, one of their sevas, one of the dham sevas, one of the ways of worshipping the dham is to sweep the dham of the vines and the leaves that fall from the desire trees. So gopis are always sweeping the kunjas, the groves of Vrindavan. But whenever they come across Krishna's footprints in the dust, they back off. They don't disturb them. They bow down to those lotus feet with all the transcendental markings on those feet. They don't disturb them. They would never, oh, this is our Lord's lotus feet. So therefore, because they're never sweeping the lotus, there's imprints of Krishna's lotus feet everywhere. They don't disturb them. And out of love for Krishna, they preserve those lotus feet by carefully sidestepping away. In fact, all the residents of Vrindavan respect and adore. That's a nice word in English. They adore. My mom used to say, son, I adore you. Mom, come on, I'm 16. Son, I adore you like a little baby. Adore is a nice word. So all the residents of Vrindavan, they adore Krishna's footprints. How do I know? If you say something in learned circles, you're all learned devotees. You're studying Gita and Bhagavatam, Chaitanya Charitamrita. When you say something, you have to back it up by reference to Shastra. So Bhagavatam 10:21-10 says, Vrindavanam Sakhi Bhuvo Vitanote Kritim Yad Devaki Sutta Panambuja Labda Lakshmi. O friend, Vrindavan is spreading the glory of the earth, having obtained the treasure of the lotus feet of Krishna. Wow. O friend, Vrindavan is spreading the glory of the earth, having obtained the treasure of the lotus feet of Krishna. Vrindavan obtained the treasure of the lotus feet of Krishna because Krishna is playing all day in the pastures, so his lotus feet are everywhere. O friend, Vrindavan is spreading the glory of the earth, having obtained the treasure of the lotus feet of Krishna, the son of Devaki. The peacocks dance madly when they hear Govinda's flute, and when other creatures see them from the hilltops, they all became stunned. So Sanatana Goswami has written that because in Vrindavan, Krishna always goes barefoot. Remember? No padukas. He always goes, why? Because his cows don't wear shoes. So what he said to Maya Yasoda, why I should wear shoes? So he always goes barefoot. Therefore, everywhere you go, there is footprints. And Sanatana Goswami says, this makes Vrindavan more glorious than Vaikuntha, where Lord Vishnu wears slippers. Sanatana Goswami, one of our great acharyas. Vrindavan's more glorious than Vaikuntha, because in Vaikuntha, the official kingdom of God, Krishna wears padukas, slippers. So finally, upon seeing Krishna's footprints, which this was his meditation, he was just going to see his Lord for the first time. So he wanted to do it in the proper etiquette. First the feet, then the waist, then the chest, then the lotus face. So he's thinking of the footprints. So upon finally seeing Krishna's footprints, Akrura set the example for all of us who are going to Vrindavan next time. He explained, this is the dust of my master's feet. And what did he do? He got off the chariot and he rolled and rolled and rolled in that dust, probably saying, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram. Oh Maharaj, are you saying that when I get to Vrindavan, in my nice dhoti and my kurta and my sari, I have to roll in the dust? Yes. Because our founder Acharya, and Acharya means one who sets the example. Prabhupada said on this matter, he actually says in Krishna book, chapter 38, I found it just in time to give this class. I was reading Krishna book, and I came across this passage in chapter 38. Prabhupada saying to all of us, As soon as one reaches the boundary of Vrindavan, he should immediately smear the dust of Vrindavan over his body without thinking of his material position and prestige. Wow. Instruction. So next time you get out of that taxi, remember, Indradyumna Maharaj came to Pune. What did he say? He didn't say anything. No, I remember. He said we have to get out of the car, mummy, and we have to roll in the dust. And you do that. And Narottam Das Thakur, he has sung in a celebrated song. Vishaya Chayiri Kabe Shudahabe Nam. When will my mind be purified after leaving the contamination of material sense enjoyment? Only when my mind will be purified after leaving the contamination of material sense enjoyment shall I be able to visit Vrindavan. So we're covered with some material desires, and we don't want to go to Vrindavan in that way. We want to become purified so we can appreciate Vrindavan. So that material contamination will go by chanting Hare Krishna, by taking prasadam, by dancing in ecstasy, and by rolling over and over and over and over in the dust. You just get up like that. Actually, I've seen sadhus, while they're rolling, they take pinches of the dust and they eat it. So this pastime of courage shows the proper mood and action when we come to Vrindavan. And maybe we're not going to see the footprints because our vision is tinged. We need spiritual eyes, but believe me, Krishna's footprints are everywhere. But the Lord is so kind that even without that spiritual vision to perceive those footprints, still you can see a few of those footprints with your material eyes in Braj. For example, I'll just tell you because, well, you want to see the footprints. No, Indradyumna Maharaj came, we talked about where are all the footprints? I'm in Vrindavan. Well, one example is halfway up Nandishvara Hill, there's a flat rock upon which Krishna sat on 5,000 years ago. And the acharyas described that at that time Krishna was, this was quite subtle, Krishna was enthralled by his own spiritual potency in the form of Vrindavan's forests, rivers, lakes, hills, mountains, and many creatures. The blackish Jamuna reminded him of Shri Radha's long braid. The blossoming flowers of her enchanting smile, and the playful birds of her restless, magnetic eyes. Well, thinking in this way, Krishna could not contain his ecstasy, and as a result, his body became so warm that he melted the stone that he was sitting on at Nandagram, leaving an imprint of his lotus feet for all to see. So when you go to Vrindavan, where do you go on Prikrama? Let's go to Nandagram, halfway up the hill. There's that flat rock that Krishna was sitting on, remembering Shri Radha, and his feet melted. And there are the feet. And you can put your head on those feet and be blessed. Not so long ago, I was in Bihar, and I went to the Jharikanda forest. I wanted to see that place where Mahaprabhu chanted through the jungle, and he made the lions and tigers and bears and snakes and everyone chant, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. We went there. We traversed into the jungle, and there's a small temple there, and there's a couple of sadhus who live there. You can see the imprints of the animals' feet on the ground where the kirtan was, because the ground also melted in ecstasy because of Mahaprabhu's chanting, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. We saw the elephants, but we saw the tigers and the deer right next to them, because in CC it mentions by chanting the holy names, these animals became free from envy and fell in love with each other on the transcendental platform. So the deer were embracing the tigers and they were dancing. I saw the tiger's footprints. I saw the deer's footprints. I saw the snake. And I saw Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's footprints. He was 7 feet tall. His feet are this big. I'd never seen them before. great austerity, with great difficulty, went into the jungle. It's still jungle. In fact, we wanted to go further, and our guide said, no, there's tigers, and your chanting will not make them dance in ecstasy. So don't go any further. I saw Mahaprabhu's foot, and I bowed down. I put my head there, and one of the rocks that made up his footprint went in my head. And I pulled it out, and I put it in a kavacha that I wear everywhere I go now. And I have a scar from the footprint of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu ki. Usually you get a scar, you want to do some Botox and make it go away. Not this scar. So he melted that stone. So that imprint upon that hill, it's called the imprint of Krishna's lotus feet, Charana, upon this hill, Pahadi, has made that particular place famous as Charana Pahadi. So when you go to Nandagam, Baba, where's Charana Pahadi? Oh, just over there. You put your head on the feet of Sri Krishna. You can see, just like Akura. Actually, there's 5 places in Braj that are called Charana Padahari, where you can see the actual footprints of Sri Krishna. You can't see because we don't have those eyes to see yet. Krishna says to Arjuna, I give you divine eyes to see my universal form. We need the blessings of Guru, Gauranga, and Vaishnavas to see these things. But until then, we can still see Krishna's footprints at 5 places. In Vrindavan, you mark this, you all with your notebooks right now. At Nandagram, at Chota Baitana, at Govardhan, and Kamyavan, and there's one on Chandrasena Parvat, and one below Chandrasena Parvat. Anyway, you can listen to the recording. And when you go, I'm going to Vrindavan, what are you going to see? There's 60 million holy places. Yes. 60 million holy places in Vrindavan. So someone will say, where are you going to go? I'm going to go to the 5 places that Indradyumna Maharaj said, I can see the lotus feet of Sri Bhagavan, Sri Krishna. Yo! So our Srila Rupa Goswami Prabhupada emphasizes the importance and the benefit of worshiping Krishna's lotus feet in 2 verses in Padyavali. Padyavali is the verse book of Sri Rupa Goswami. Just like those of you who are scholarly, you have a little book with the verses you're memorizing, like Vaisheshika Prabhu, my godbrother, he's got a big book with all the verses he's memorized, since he started Krishna consciousness. He's a shloka wala. He has those verses. So Rupa Goswami, his favorite verses, he put in a book called Padyavali. I carry that book everywhere. Padyavali. And there's 2 verses in which he reveals to us the benefit of worshiping the lotus feet of Krishna. He writes as follows, O Madhusudan, a wise person nullifies any sins he may have done by serving your lotus feet within his heart. But one who rejects your service gets sinful reactions, even though he may not have done any sinful deed. And the 2nd verse, not by wearing saffron cloth, not by restricting food or other sense activities, not by living in the forest, not by discussing philosophy, not by observing a vow of silence, but only by even the slightest beginning of devotional service to the lotus feet of Lord Govinda, who enjoys pastimes on the Jamuna River's wide banks, can a person curtail lust, the influence of Cupid, Kamadev. So many things we're doing. If you just worship the lotus feet of Krishna, Cheto Dharpana Marjanam, these things are washed away. Now, I won't go on too much longer because, you have to celebrate your day here in Maharashtra by having more kirtan, etc. The marks on Krishna's lotus feet. More detail, so much detail. The marks on Krishna's lotus feet are described by Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur in his book called Sri Rupa Chintamani. Krishna has certain marks which distinguish him from others' feet. He has these beautiful marks. They're described in Sri Rupa Chintamani. Therein he writes that Krishna's feet are decorated with 19, bear in mind, 19 wonderful symbols. On the left foot is a fish, a half moon, a triangle, 4 water pots, a cow's hoof print, Cupid's bow, 2 concentric circles, and a conch shell. On Krishna's right foot are 11 marks, an octagon, 4 swastikas, 4 rose apples, not green apples, 4 rose apples, a thunderbolt, a banner, an elephant goad, a lotus, a vertical line, an umbrella, a disc, and a barley corn. So when you go to Vrindavan, maybe you'll get spiritual vision, you'll see Krishna's footprints there, but make sure there's a vertical line, an umbrella, a disc, and a barley corn. That'll be Krishna. And Vrindavaneshwari, we might as well mention because the divine couple. Anapayani means she's never separated from Krishna. She has distinctive marks on her lotus feet as well, although we only see them on, what is that particular day? We get to see her lotus feet, Gopastami. She has 19 symbols on her feet. On her left foot is a half moon, a creeper, a bracelet, a flower, a flag, an elephant goad, a lotus flower, a vertical line, an umbrella, a disc, and a barley corn. And on Sri Radha's right foot is a fish, a spear, a chariot, a club, an earring, a sacrificial altar, a mountain, and a conch shell. And our acharyas say that these marks on Radha and Krishna's footprints help the gopis to find them when they're wandering around somewhere in Braj. So today I'd like to conclude with Srila Prabhupada's beautiful words from his purport to Srimad Bhagavatam, 1st canto, 11th chapter, verse 26. Such an appropriate way. Just like when you're in a musical concert sometimes, that you have to end on a high note. Da-da-da-da-da-da. So here is a beautiful, appropriate way to finish on a high note, discussing the lotus feet of your devotee, your deities here, your beautiful deities. This is Srila Prabhupada encouraging us. The pure devotees are always hankering after the lotus feet of the Lord, which have a kind of honey that is transcendentally relished by devotees. They are like bees who are always after the honey. Sri Rupa Goswami, the great devotee Acharya of the Gaudiya Vaishnava Sampradaya, has sung a song about this lotus honey, comparing himself to the bee. He writes, O my Lord Krishna, I beg to offer my prayers unto you. My mind is like the bee, and it is after some honey. Kindly, therefore, give my bee-like mind a place at your lotus feet, which are the resources for all transcendental honey. I know that even big demigods like Brahma do not see the rays of the nails of your lotus feet, even though they are engaged in deep meditation for years together. Still, O infallible one, my ambition is such, for you are very merciful to your surrendered devotees. O Madhava, I know also that I have no genuine devotion for the service to your lotus feet, but because your lordship is inconceivably powerful, you can do what is impossible to be done. Your lotus feet deride even the nectar of the heavenly kingdom, and therefore I am very much attracted by them. O Supreme Eternal, please, therefore, let my mind be fixed at your lotus feet, so that eternally I may be able to relish the taste of your transcendental service. Hare Krishna, Srila Prabhupada ki. About Srila Rupa Goswami, Prabhupada referred to him. It's one of our great acharyas. I'd like to conclude glorifying him with this beautiful verse. Shrupasya padashvada Shrupasya padayar iha Bhavat yeva sada tasmat Shrupasya padam shraye. In this world, the constant sweet experience of Shri Rupa Pada, the feet of the beautiful looking Krishna, certainly happens through Shri Rupa Pada, the wonderful poetry of Shri Rupa Goswami. Therefore, I take shelter of Shri Rupa Pada, the lotus feet of Shri Rupa Goswami Prabhupada. Hare Krishna, thank you very much. To help you fix your gaze on the lotus feet of your beautiful deities here, Radha and Krishna, I'd like to present to you a new book that has just come out. You may remember last year when I came here, I had the first of a series of books we're producing called The Sacred Forests of Vrindavan. Can I have volume 1 too? Volume. And Govardhan? You may remember I came last year, those of you who were here. There's, I'm giving lectures on Vrindavan for the last 5 years. Actually, during COVID, I was locked in my room in Vrindavan, and as a traveling preacher, it was quite austere because I'd been traveling for 52 years around the world. I'm locked in a little apartment for 3 years in COVID. So I looked at my library. I said, I should really study that library and learn something. And I decided I'd focus on Vrindavan because it's the Padam Gatim. It's where we all want to end up in the long run. So I started studying and I started giving lectures every Friday. They go up on my YouTube channel for 5 years. And it's called the Sacred Forest of Vrindavan. So far I've given 686 lectures only about Vrindavan. And my disciples have transcribed those lectures in book form. And the first one came out last year. Those lectures about the western banks of the Jamuna, you may remember. And this is the perfect guidebook from when you go to Vrindavan. You go to Vrindavan, you don't know where to go, you don't know what to see, you may go to the holy places you don't know. Gradually we're describing all the holy places. I hope to live to be 108 years old so I can describe as many holy places as possible. You just take this book and you go to Vrindavan and you go someplace and you open it up and everything will be revealed to you. I did so much research there. And there's beautiful paintings as well here, or photographs of the holy places. So all the holy places on the western bank of the Jamuna are described here. And this year we've come out with volume 2, the eastern bank of the Jamuna. Same format. Beautiful photographs of the holy place. Here's some devotees rolling in the dust of Vrindavan like Prabhupada told us to do. So when you go, you take this book with you, and wherever you, Radha Kund, Shama Kund, Nandagam, Varsana, Prem Sarovara, you go to Kamyavan, and you just say, okay, there it is in the contents, let's read about it. Authorized, so much information is there. And even if you can't go to Vrindavan, in the privacy of your apartment, your home, you can read, and the transcendental sound vibration will turn your apartment into Vrindavan. You'll be there by oral reception. So this is my service to the society, to put all these holy places, these holy persons, these moods of Vrindavan in a format you can just open up and immediately enter into Vrindavan. So this was volume 1 last year. This is volume 2. If you let me come back next year, maybe I can bring volume 3. Would that be okay? And of course, this is one extra book I did, all about Govardhan Hill. All the pastimes that are known by our acharyas and given by Srila Prabhupada are in this one book, Giriraj Govardhan. So you can take this book as well. And recently, HarperCollins, it's a prestigious printing company, they approached me and they said, Indradyumna Swami, we know that you keep a diary when you travel around the world for many years now. Could you please make a selection of what you consider the best attractive chapters, and we'll print it for you with HarperCollins and we'll sell it all over the world and we'll make it a bestseller. I said, okay. So I gave them 20, 25 chapters and they put it together. It just came out. It's called Adventures of a Traveling Monk. Hare Bol. It's a memoir. There's a famous person, Jay Seti, he wrote the introduction. Radhanath Swami, Gauranga, they've also given introduction there. So it's not about me, it's about Prabhupada's mercy, how a small, humble, insignificant person like me can take the holy name to outer Mongolia, Russia, China, Paraguay, New Zealand, the North Pole to the penguins. It's a really interesting, it's woven, the philosophy of Bhagavad Gita is woven within. Really good for children, teenagers, easy reading. You can read a chapter before you go to bed at night and you'll dream about traveling, spreading Krishna consciousness all the way. Anyone who takes any one of these three books, a combination, I'm going to give it free today. So, yeah, this is something, So you take this and you get this and you go home and you say, I just came from the temple where I learned all about the lotus feet of Krishna in Vrindavan. I want to go there, so I'm going to learn more about Sri Vrindavan Dham on this auspicious day of the first year here, the first day of the year for Maharashtra. Okay? It's a good day to buy it. The book table is there, and I have a pen. Where's my pen? That pen's out of ink. You should have brought a pen with ink. Huh? I'll have a pen, and I'll be sure to sign my autograph here. So you can anyway, that's not so important, but it's nice to have the signature to the author. Please line up. My secretary is going to say a few more words. I'll stay here till lunchtime, signing books, so you can take Vrindavan into your own home. Thank you very much. Shira Baba Ki, Shira Gumeshan Daman Dama Ki, I go Premanandi, Jai Jai Sri Radhe Shyam. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. As Maharaj explained, we have the book table over there where we are selling the books. You can form a line there and get the books and come here to get the book signed. The book cost is 2,500 rupees. We have got some sponsorship. So the first 100 books, you can pay 2,000 rupees. It's only for the first 100 books we are giving a 500 rupees discount. So please form a line there. You can pay by UPI or cash. Thank you so much.
हरे कृष्णा. आइए हम इंद्रदुम्न स्वामी महाराज को धन्यवाद देंगे 3 बार हरि बोल बोलकर. हरि बोल, हरि बोल, हरि. हिज इंद्रदुम्न स्वामी महाराज की. तो आज मराठी क्लास होने वाला नहीं है. हम सबको पता है कि अगले रविवार को हम लोग मनाने जा रहे हैं श्री रामनवमी महामहोत्सव. तो उस उपलक्ष्य में 2 तारीख से लेके 6 तारीख तक अलग अलग भक्तों द्वारा ये राम कथा यहाँ होने वाली है. इसमें से हिज डिवाइन गेस्ट श्रील प्रभुपाद, महावीर्य प्रभु, रासपरायण प्रभु, कृष्ण किशोर प्रभु, मुकुलानंद प्रभु, इस प्रकार अलग अलग भक्तों द्वारा 2 तारीख से लेकर 6 तारीख तक राम कथा का आयोजन किया गया है. 6 तारीख को फास्टिंग 12 बजे तक है. 7:30 और 6 तारीख का शेड्यूल कुछ इस प्रकार रहेगा. 7:30 बजे गुरु पूजा होगी. 8 बजे दर्शन आरती होगी. 8:15 बजे श्रीमद् भागवतम क्लास हिज ग्रेस मुकुलानंद प्रभु द्वारा होगा. 10 बजे भगवान श्री राम जी को अभिषेक होगा और 11:15 बजे से फेस्टिवल क्लास होगा. 12:30 बजे महाआरती होगी. महाआरती के बाद सभी के लिए महाप्रसादम. हरे कृष्णा.